We also have another practice called Berhatan or Sunnat. There's some other names for it, right? Where circumcision is done for kids boys reaching the age of puberty, 11 and 12-year-old. This is torture. This is torture. The sunnah is to do it on the 7th day. That is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what he taught, on the 7th day. A baby who is born on the 7th day, you clip off that bit of skin. It's a minor situation. For a boy who has reached 11 and 12, this is now something serious. You're harming people. So it's not sunnat at all. It is harm. Okay? So really we need to deal with such practices. There's harm coming from it now. Harm we had talked about spiritually in the bersanding, and now harm in the berhatan, which is physical harm. So the potential is there. We have to re-look at Islamic culture here and categorize it. We also have, among the adopted practices, the Mawlid. Very popular. People spend a lot of time preparing for it, conducting it, etc. But we have to understand fundamentally that the Mawlid is not from Islamic culture. It has become the culture of Muslim people in many places. National holidays in many Muslim countries. However, did Prophet Muhammad ﷺ celebrate his birthday? No. Did his Sahaba celebrate his birthday? No. Did the Tabi'un, those who came after the Sahaba, did they celebrate his birthday? No. Did the Tabi'in? No. 400 years after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this practice began in Shiite Egypt. The Fatimids, they began it. And it spread. But it is not from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Actually, the date of birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is unknown. Yes, there is a common day everybody fixes in the calendars, but really when you get back to it, you research it, you find out that date has no authentic evidence to establish it. As Christmas is not the birthday of Jesus Christ, tomorrow, 25th of December, the date of the Mawlid, the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, is not the date of established birth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We also have another source of cultural Islam, and this is based on religious innovation. Innovation which introduced into Islamic teachings concepts which were in fact foreign to Islam. This general body of teachings may be called in English mysticism, and in Muslim culture it is referred to as Sufism. Now, some of what is called Sufism may be from Islam. Extra prayers, avoiding too much of attachment to this world, living a simple life, remembering Allah often. These are all part of Islam. But where one has this belief that it is possible for the human being to become one with God, known as ittihad or hulul or fana fillah, a variety of names given to it, we now have a dangerous concept, a concept which leads now to heresy, where we had individuals standing up and saying, I am Allah. There is nothing inside of my garment except Allah. Famous statement of Al-Hallaj. People claiming special status because they are higher up on the spiritual ladder. Special intercessors called Autad, Qutub, and a variety of other names. People who are supposed to be closer to Allah, who can take our prayers to Allah for us. People who are given the ability to distribute Allah's barakah in the world. We have clear statements of Sheikh Nazim Al-Qubrusi, famous for following here. Some of the Datus are among his followers. The ruler of Brunei is also a follower of his. He claims, and his followers believe, that a true follower of his, when the time for death comes, the angel of death does not take his soul. Sheikh Nazim will be there to take his soul and hand it over to the angels of the next world. Not only that, but when Munkar and Nakir come, sit you up in the grave, in the state of the grave, we're sat up, and we're asked 3 questions. Man Rabbuk? Ma dinuk? Wa man nabiyuk? Who was your Lord? What was your religion? And who was the prophet sent to you? Sheikh Nazim will be there to whisper in your ear, Allah, Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. What is this? This is like the Christian corruption known as papal indulgences back in the Middle Ages, in order to enhance the financial status of the Catholic Church. The Pope used to issue certificates with his seal, signature on it, which said, the bearer of this certificate has a place in paradise. They sold it. People bought it. Papal indulgences. Guaranteed seats in paradise. So we have today Sheikh Nazim and his group claiming the same thing. Because if he's given you the answers that are being asked in the grave, then what else is there? You're guaranteed paradise. That is serious. But people who believe this are in serious trouble spiritually. People who believe that there are intercessors who we can pray to besides Allah, between us and Allah, are in serious trouble. The last major group which produce what we could call again cultural Islam, distortion, is the religious fanatical groups. The most popular ones or most well-known ones of the past were the madhabs. The madhabs. I know here in Malaysia, everybody is Shafi'i, generally. I know when I went for Hajj, and there were some people from South India. South India are Shafi'is also. And I saw this brother, we were making wudu, we were in the same area. And when the time came for him to wipe his head, he moved his cap back slightly, and he took water and just patted it on his head 3 times. I said to him, brother, that's not masah. You know, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he did masah, he took his hands, this is recorded, authentic hadith, and he wiped from the front to the back, back to the front. This is complete head. This is masah. He said, I'm Shafi'i. I said, no problem. So, you're Shafi'i, but this is not how it is done. Imam Shafi'i didn't even do this. He said, you're Wahhabi, I know. I heard about you guys. What to do? This is a problem. This is a problem. I mean, he has no idea where this idea of patting hairs on the front of his head comes from, that it was from a scholastic, linguistic argument where some Shafi'i scholars were debating about what constitutes the minimum of masah. This is just a scholastic argument. What is the minimum which would constitute masah? They said, okay, masah means wiping your hair. The word for hair is sha'r. So, if you wipe one hair is called sha'ra. If you wipe 2 hairs, it's called sha'ratan. If you wipe 3 hairs, it's called sha'r. So they said, okay, so the minimum required for masah that would make masah acceptable is to wipe at least 3 hairs. Okay, all right. That's a wonderful debate and discussion and scholastic argument, but that's not what Rasulullah ﷺ did. He didn't do that.